So we're going to go on to the next question. And this one is about self-love. Can we love ourselves fully if we don't forgive?
No,
Mm.
you can't,
And why?
because forgiveness is a part of self-love. Because usually, I mean, it's an old saying, but it's a true one. If you can't learn to forgive yourself and other people, you cannot truly love yourself. If you're lacking forgiveness of other people, if you're holding on to their weight, then you're not fully in balance, which means you're always going to have conflict within self. If you don't love yourself, of course, it's going to be ultimate chaos. So no, you absolutely have to forgive for you. It's a hard lesson to learn, and a lot of people struggle with it, but it is probably one of the most important ones, in my opinion.
I'll jump in next then, and I think it is about what non-forgiveness does, like you're saying, what it does to your self, your vibration, your energy, and I think you do have to. This is something I've personally struggled with. And Omae and I, we've had this conversation because in this regard, she's very similar to me in that we both don't really like conflict or negative emotion. We both struggle with that, and I can run from it, but you have to go through the feelings in order to get to forgiveness. So you're allowed to be angry. You're allowed to have, like, should I say hateful, wicked thoughts, you're allowed to do that, but it has to be a part of a process of coming out the other side. You can't stay in it. And I know there's certain situations and individuals I've struggled to forgive, and it's just because I don't want to recognize the fallacy in them, just like there's the fallacy in me. And that's the mirror, is accepting and understanding that they weren't born that way. Circumstances led them to be that way for whatever reason. And sometimes, it's a weakness. It's not because they're nasty or mean or whatever, although the action may be. It's actually a weakness in their ability to do something different. And for that, we have to forgive.
Yes, indeed. Because forgiveness is not for the other person, really. When you think about it, you forgiving is a release. You're letting go of whatever you thought you were wronged by another person, regardless of deserving it or not. But there's power in forgiveness that we sometimes overlook.
I feel like dang, I feel kind of like what Caroline said, because you can't love without loving you can't love other people. You have to love yourself for real before you could forgive other people, right? But I feel like, honestly and truly, I feel like you can know, as long as you're in the process of forgiving. Like, you don't have to completely have forgiven, but you could be transforming. You could be I'm still like, I'm loving myself more and more. And as I'm loving myself more and more, I'm starting to forgive more and more. I didn't forgive completely or whatever to start loving. I focused in on myself and love myself, and was starting to be okay with the things I didn't like so much, and everything outside of that has gotten a little bit easier. You know what I'm saying? My resentment and things towards my foster mother and my biological mother, even to this day now, I can't really 100% say that I 100% forgive them, but but I love myself, and I'm loving myself more and more, and it's helping me to be less less resentful, like towards them, or like I don't have like bad things to say, like, you know what I'm saying? Like before I used to be like, oh, if they died, I wouldn't cry, I wouldn't care. Like now, like, you know what I'm saying? Like I have less and less, like, so I forgive more and more. Like, all right, now I'm to the point where I understand why she did X, Y, and Z. Before I couldn't even like grasp that or get that. I didn't care to, like, I just didn't. So for me, and this is just on me, I feel like they go hand in hand. So I feel like you need a little bit of both to start moving the scale. Like, you know what I'm saying? I don't think you have to have one in order to have the other or the other. I think like a little bit of both and intention could kinda, that's my opinion.
Yeah, can
Thank you
I
for
add?
my point with that.
Go on, Adriana.
No, you can go ahead.
I was just going to say, I think that is self-love as well, is knowing it's that inner child and actually loving yourself enough to go, I didn't deserve that. You know, because sometimes, and I think it goes back again to what Adriana said about pushing yourself to the side. And it's not even accepting things, it's just a coping strategy. And I've seen that with a lot of the young people that I've worked with. You know, you have to, for survival, and it's in neurological science and all of that. Sometimes things are that traumatic that you have to box it off and put it way back, but it doesn't go away. It will start to come up. You know, it will come up in thoughts, it will come up in dreams, it will start to hammer at you, you know. And so I think that it's realizing, loving yourself enough to realize I did not deserve that treatment.
Mm-hmm.
I shouldn't have been treated like that. But then the other side of it that I've learned personally and professionally is going, but what led them to do that? Why are they that way, to act that way? And I've used the analogy with young people before when we've talked about, you know, family members and things, that your expectation is out of sync. It's like expecting a dog to climb a tree. Cats climb trees. Dogs don't climb trees. So you're sitting there waiting for that dog to climb the tree, and it's never going to do it because it's not equipped to. And often in life, that's what we're dealing with, is that people are not equipped. They behave the way they behave because of the experiences that they've had. You know, and I think I saw an interview with Taraji P. Henson where she was talking about there's a tribe in Africa where if somebody does something to wrong the others, they will put them in the middle of the tribe and everyone will speak positive affirmations to that person, to remind them of who they are, you know, because it's acknowledging that the society that we live in has some really toxic stuff going on. There's a lot of recent history, like with Windrush, like with, is it IMI that talked about, in your piece, IMI, you said about post-traumatic stress, slavery.
Post-traumatic slave syndrome, yeah.
Yeah, that's in our most recent DNA. It's not generations ago. It's like your grandparents, your great-grandparents. So what has led to this behavior? When you're a slave and you're being beaten and you're being whipped and there's butt breaking and there's torturous, all this stuff, it stands to reason that you're going to have a generation of people that beat their children with sticks off a tree. You know, we have to break cycles of trauma. And for me, that's what helps. Forgiveness is really realizing if humanity had a different history, we'd behave differently.
1,000%. I totally agree with that. I'll just add that I think in Tone's case, like, you're on the right track. Like, that's exactly what me and Caroline are talking about, getting to that place where you can appreciate a person for who they are, so much so that whatever it is that they did to you doesn't cause you harm anymore. That's releasing that weight. So just because you don't feel like you're 100% there yet doesn't mean you're not doing the work. Tone is right on point. Yin and yang, and the purpose of what she's doing makes perfect sense. She's basically where a lot of people who are trying are. Um, and if we could all get to that place, it would be a lot easier for us to understand what being consciously selfish is, what forgiveness really is, what understanding a whole human being is. And the closer we get to that, the better. But the generational trauma is the biggest and most heavy bear, especially for Black people, because we definitely have a lot of internalized toxicity that a lot of people don't want to let go of or don't even realize that they have.
Yeah, and just to put the final lid on what you've just said, Adriana, and support everything that you said in regards to you as well, Cynthonia, is that there are absolutely levels of trauma. You know, what you've disclosed to me, I just can't imagine that. You know, of course it's going to take you a lot more work, but what is resulting, as I've said many times, is this really beautiful, empathetic, patient, loving, spiritual being. But my trauma, any trauma I want to talk about, is not comparative to yours on any level. It really isn't. That destroys a lot of people. So for you to be doing the work and be who you are is, outstanding.
I just want to say one thing, Irma, because I'm not taking away from my experiences because I've lived through them. They're pretty deep. But who's to say that I could have survived what you went through? We can't compare, you know what I'm saying, situations, because to me, you're like, yeah, the abuse, the rape, the this, the that, it's messed up, but being intimate with somebody and loving somebody and thinking that I'm going to share life with somebody and having kids and not going that way and it being what it wasn't supposed to be. I don't know. We can't compare traumas. Yours was bad too. You know what I'm saying? And you have kids with your situation. So I dealt with a lot, but you dealt with a lot too, is what I'm trying to say. So
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. You know what's sticking out to me is that sometimes it's expected that if you forgive, you forget. You don't have to forget, because that allows you to still go through, okay, you know what, this happened. And now if something like this arises again, I can be prepared while still, not holding resent towards somebody. And it's a gradual process. It's not, oh, I forgive you and all is well. It's, I'm learning, I'm working on me, and in that I'm learning to love myself fully. Did you have something you want to share, Omae?
Oh yes. I was gonna say that I think it's so important that people actually go through things in life, because I think the people that I'm around who've actually been through real things, they're way better emotionally and they're way better people. Like the school I go to is a very high income school, and I've been in classes where I've been sitting and I've been listening to people complain about the smallest things, and I've like what do you have to complain about? There's nothing to complain about. And then you have people who've gone through way more in their life, deeper stuff, and they're way better people. And I think it's so important that we actually go through situations in life to come out a better person. Like what Mom's told me about her life has definitely made her a better person. She's more spiritual and empathetic, and she knows things about my character that she's learned about her character, so then she can pass that down to me. And there's been things that I've struggled with, but she knows about it because she's already struggled with it herself, so she can advise me on what to do. And I think when we look at forgiveness, it does definitely take time, because I had a friend and we kind of fell out, and as Mom was saying, I think at the time, I think you should be allowed to feel the feelings that you're feeling and not trying to like cut them off, because obviously it's happening in real time. But yeah, definitely forgiveness is important for yourself, because then you can kind of let go of that emotion and acknowledge that that person was sent to you for a reason. It was sent to you for a learning and like development of who you are. And yeah, as Mom was saying, I don't think you guys would be who you were without them things that happened in your life. And everything, different things happen to people in their lives to make them a certain way. No one's going to have the same story. And it's just, yeah, important for forgiveness for yourself to kind of like let go of that like hateful emotion. And yeah, that actually people that usually have the most cushy lives aren't always the best people. So yeah.
Yeah, a lot of times we have to forgive ourselves because what happened to us, we're thinking like, oh man, I'm so stupid. We start calling ourselves all these names. How could I have let this happen? I should have known better, or whatever it was, or thinking we were so defenseless at a time when that's just what it was. And in order for us to get through on the other side stronger, we have to give ourselves grace and definitely forgive ourselves. So moving right along to the next one. Oh, you want to share? Okay.
I just want to add to what you said, because I can't slide past it. That is, as what you're saying, it's programming as well. Self-denigration is a program. You know, to say, oh, I'm this and I'm that. I've done it, and it took a lot of work for me to actually accept that you don't ever have to say anything bad about yourself. You're allowed to make mistakes, and you're allowed to still go, but I'm a great person, and I made a mistake. You don't have to destroy your own character. And I think people who are empathic, you know, people who are loving and kind can have the worst self-talk because they're way harder on themselves. And when you look at people who are like sociopaths or psychopaths, they don't care about anything that they do, and they are confident as anything. Their self-talk is topper, you know. So it's that. It's not. You shouldn't ever. And this is. I think I said it in one of my poems, that denigration of self is. It's not something that I'm ever going to do again, because there's nothing in it. There's nothing to be gained by doing that, ever.
No. There's no wins in self-denigration.